But Biden's extreme agenda includes a radical vision to destroy suburbs across our nation. How are your suburbs doing? Don't ask. Are they good? They won't be good for long if they get it. And to completely dismantle law enforcement and cripple police departments nationwide. You know what's going on. You see it better than anybody. You don't have to take my word for it. Biden's plan to destroy suburbs and police. Just take a look. Roll the tape. We do this for you on this freezing cold night.
The suburbs today are not the suburbs of half a century ago. The suburbs are far more diverse than the cities, but they're being targeted. Being targeted for what? Federalized, centralized government control by the left.
Democrats want to abolish the suburbs. They are too clean and nice, and therefore, by definition, they are racist. The Biden campaign has highly specific plans on how to do this. It's called Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing. It's a HUD regulation. It was written during the Obama administration. Biden's advisors plan to enforce it. Towns will be ordered to abolish zoning for single-family housing because single-family homes, needless to say, are racist. Low-income, federally subsidized apartments will go up in the suburbs.
We'll also build 1.5 million new energy-efficient homes and public housing units.
Thankfully, Trump repealed this rule back in July. But now the left is backing an even more radical plan. It was a bill put forward by Senator Cory Booker to push low-income housing developments into the suburbs. This would be a federal takeover of local zoning laws, in essence. And Biden, he fully supports it.
The prior administration piled up more than 600 major new regulations, a cruel and punishing regulatory burden that cost the average American an additional $2,300 per year. Think of that. The average American, $2,300 regulation, hitting low-income Americans by far the hardest. Our historic regulatory relief is providing the average American household an extra $3,100 every single year.
I've had the luxury of enjoying the benefit of the tax cuts. The tax cuts allowed me to grow my businesses.
I believe that if you take into account the Trump tax cut, you take into account the drop in unemployment, and particularly unemployment for African Americans, the lowest it's ever been in history.
How's the economy right now?
We're loving it.
Kennedy credits the Trump tax cuts and deregulation for her company's growth.
It's the first time in 10 years that it's booming again.
The tax cuts that were imposed did wonders for the middle class.
I will cut taxes even further for hardworking moms and dads. I will not raise taxes. I will cut them.
First thing I do is going to repeal this Trump tax cut.
Do you believe there is systemic racism in law enforcement?
Absolutely.
I've been a police officer for nearly 32 years. Joe Biden does not have the backs of police officers.
Joe Biden's staffers, they gave money to a fund to help bail out accused criminals.
Joe Biden's silence is encouraging the rioters.
Kamala Harris was working to help the instigators, the criminals, get out of jail.
If Joe Biden's elected, it's just going to continue.
Everyone beware, because they're not going to stop.
The only person who has defended the police is Trump. I have had overwhelming support from police my whole career up until this year.
We can reduce the responsibilities assigned to the police and redirect some of the funding for police. Can we agree that we can redirect some of the funding?
Yes, absolutely.
In Joe Biden's America, we'll all be in danger. If you support the police and you want to be safe in your home and you want your children safe, support Donald Trump.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that's pretty effective. You know what that costs to bring to you tonight? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pretty effective, right? You see it. It saves me a lot of words. I can sit here, watch. I say, see? Nah, he's not the right guy. He's not the right guy. He's not right for this country. He's not the guy for this country. This election is a choice between the American dream, which is what we want, and a socialist nightmare, which is where you would head if you ever did that, which I don't believe you'll do. It's a choice between a Trump boom and a Biden lockdown. He wants to lock it all down. No, we close it up. We understand the disease. It's a terrible thing. Should never have been allowed to come here from China. Should never have been allowed. Joe Biden will delay the vaccine, postpone therapies, prolong the pandemic, shutter your schools, right? Shutter your schools, destroy your small businesses, and shut down our country. We're not doing that. Look, we are setting records, 11.4 million people. It's all opened up. We understand it, and we are doing a job. We are literally setting records on employment. Look at housing. Look at automobile production. Look at how you're doing in Nebraska. Look at how you're doing in Nebraska. Biden even wants to lock down young and healthy Americans, yet for those under the age of 50, I hate to say this, under the age of 50, how many are under the age of 50? Pretty young. Well, I have good news for you. 99.99, okay? You know what that means? That means you're in good shape. That's what that means. But you notice the fake news now, right? All they talk about is COVID, 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 and we've made such progress. It's incredible. Excuse me, I'm here. I'm here. Right? I mean, I wasn't exactly feeling great. It's been a long time. I wasn't exactly feeling great, and I met with great doctors. One thing, when you're president, you got plenty of doctors. We have one of them here tonight, I think, right? We have our great White House doctors traveling. Sean, he's become very famous. Where's Sean? He's become, oh, is that Sean? Look at Sean. Look at him. Wow. You know, he's got a big ego. He loves it when I mention his name. No, he's a great doctor, and they were great doctors from Johns Hopkins and from Walter Reed and everything else. And what we know today is like so different than what we knew 6 months ago. Incredible. The progress they've made, and with the vaccines, which are coming immediately, even without, we're turning that corner. You know, at some point, we're turning that corner. And it's been pretty amazing. Florida had a rough time. Boom, it's back. It's all the way down. Texas, all the way down. Arizona, great governors, all the way down. Biden's cruel and senseless lockdowns would cause countless deaths from suicide, drug overdose, and delayed medical care, alcohol. I mean, so many different problems. Remember, I'd say the cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. That's what you have. When I banned travel from China, remember he said, oh, we should have done it sooner, except when I banned it for 2.5 months, he said, he shouldn't do that. He's xenophobic, right? And now he says, oh, I should have done it earlier. And he had a thing called the swine flu. It was a disaster, much less lethal. It was a disaster. He was a disaster. He's still a disaster, actually.